Hello, friends. We are starting up a new series pertaining to steel structures. So, this is the first lesson where we will study about the steel structure. So, this is basically about the introduction of steel structure. When you visit some places or you are roaming around in your city, you have seen there are such steel structure. This is basically power transmission pole. This is basically some stadium work is there. Okay, and this is some shading work, roof shading work basically, and this is truss. So all these structure are called as steel structures. So basically whatever structure made up of steel or made up of some metal you have seen in daily life, these are basically steel structure. Even if you are working, if you are living near, in a city where the metro construction is being carrying on, so you have seen a number of trestle around for the support of the element, so that are also steel structure. So what exactly is steel structure? What is the real definition of steel structure? So first we will understand that. So steel structure is basically, it is a metal structure. What we have some metal. Okay, steel structure is a metal structure. Remember this point, it is a metal structure made up of structural steel component. Okay, so what is steel structure? Steel structure is just a metal structure which is made up of structural steel component which are connecting with each other. Okay, as ever you have seen that it is made up of structural steel component that are connecting with each other, and what basically they does, there is the beam in them basically taking up the load. That load is being transferred to column. From column it is being transferred to the foundation. So they basically, these steel structure is a metal structure made up of structural steel component, and which are connecting with each other to carry load and provide full rigidity. So these are basically steel structure. Now the question comes, what are basically structural steel component? As a steel structure is made up of structural steel component, so what are structural steel component? So basically structural steel component, if we talk about, so suppose something is being used number of times. Suppose there is some element that is being used in number of applications. So what the producer of that element do, it is starts producing that element in the masses. So same thing is with the structural steel component. There are specific shape. Suppose I section is there, angle section is there, C section is there. Okay, so they are basically specific design are there. Already they have some specific design, and these specific design have some dimensions that are being manufactured in the market. So basically steel construction material which is fabricated with a specific dimension, specific shape, by some factories, and then available for purchase in the market, are basically structural steel component. Suppose you want to have a I channel of a specific requirement you have, and this I channel have some specific dimensions. Okay, so these I channels having specific dimensions are available in the market, and you can directly purchase from the market. There is no need to fabricate again. They are purchased, you can directly purchase from the market. I section, angle section. Okay, so these are basically structural steel components are available in the market in the bulk. Basically these are being fabricated with a specific shape and specific size, having specific properties. If I am having channel of some dimensions, then this channel, if I bought from a one supplier, if I bought from with other supplier, I bought it from the third supplier, all these have the same specific properties basically. So this is basically structural steel component. Okay, hope you understand what is structural steel. You have must be clear. And what more thing is that these structural steel have a table called as a steel table. You just have to check the shape and size, and from the steel table you can identify and you can find out the properties of that structural steel. Okay, so that is clear to you. What is steel structure? Steel structure is a metal structure made up of structural steel component which are connecting with each other, and that carry load and provide full rigidity and transfer load from the top to the foundation. Okay, the another name for structural steel is basically hot rolled products. These are also called as hot rolled product. If you want to buy in the market, then either you can call it as structural steel component, or they are also called as hot rolled product because they are being manufactured by the rolling operation. Okay, so now these structural steel is basically used having many applications. It are being used in industrial sets. Okay, these are basically the advantage of the industrial sets that I have shown you. This is basically the advantage. This I am just deleting up. This is basically advantage of industrial shaded. Okay, as these industrial shaded, there are wind load has to be carried, and they can basically easily carry the deformation, and the load is distributed over more area, and these load is being transmitted from the beam to the foundation without damaging the structure. So this is basically industrial shade. So these steel structures are applications are industrial states. Okay, nowadays these stadiums are being constructed using the steel structures, and even this power transmission lines, whatever you have seen in the highways, seen on the highways, there is power transmission line. These are also made up of the steel structure. And the trusses basically transmitting forces, trusses supporting members, these are also made up of the steel structure. Now the question comes, why steel structures are important? What are the advantage of having the steel structure? Okay, the same work can be done by the RCC, but why steel structure? So we will understand some points why steel structure comes into picture. So first thing is that can be adjusted, changed according to the owner requirement. This is simple thing. The steel structure you can change, you can as whatever the owner requirement is there, you can easily change it. Suppose it is a RCC. If you are casting some RCC, okay, if it is made up of RCC, then basically it is a fixed design over there. You can't do the more changes over there. Basically it is a concrete sort of design. Okay, you can't do more experiment, but with the steel structure you can change. Basically you can, suppose let us take example of a trestle, you can change the bracing, you can make it more rigid, you can make it more strong depending upon the number of bracings you have provided. And it is simple. Basically these steel structure can be adjusted according to the will of the owner. Okay, whatever the owner requirement is, that you can easily adjust. That is not with the help with the RCC structure. And these are stylish, these looks stylish. Okay, if you have more stylish, these looks okay. And sense of openness is there. It is a like it is an open type of structure is there. Now the main thing is that the steel structure are a stylish, sense of openness. Okay, now this malleable, these are malleable, so you can give them shape, any whatever the shape you want to give them, you can easily give them. And one more thing, these steel structure why important, I will tell you one more thing, setting an example of basically metro construction project. Okay, suppose there is a pier 1 is there, just suppose there is pier 1. Okay, having the this is pier 1, pier 2. Okay, these are basically pier 1 and pier 2. We have to construct a bridge over there. Now consider the this as having a span of 60 meter or 70 meter. If we want to construct a bridge, if we want to basically construct a bridge, there are either we can go by the RCC. Okay, if we go with the RCC, then we have to cast element of 60 meter length or 70 meter length. Okay, that much element we have to cast. And if the span length increases, then this thickness of that element, as it has self weight, and apart from the self weight, the metro will run over it, so its thickness, basically its thickness will also increases. Okay, and self weight is increases, thickness is also increases. In such a case, RCC structure, casting RCC structure directly, or erection of the RCC element directly on these piers is not possible. So what we does, we basically does steel erection. Basically we steel structure erection we first does, and upon the steel structure erection, taking at I sections, basically steel girders are being erected, and over that the casting is being done. Okay, and thus deck slave casting is being done. In this way the material cost also save, as well as these steel structures are having more strength. Okay, the same steel structure is having more strength than RCC. So this is one of the example, the advantage. Okay, malleability, these are steel structures are malleable, so you can easily shape them according to the will of the engineer have a freedom. Suppose there is a concrete structure, if you want to this hit it with the hammer, then it will break down. But if you hit some steel structure with the hammer, then you can give it the shape that you want to give him. So, and another thing is that suppose there is a erection of some element in the metro construction field. For if you compare for the same strength, same strength, suppose the strength is x Newton per meter square, the strength is requirement x Newton per meter square for the same strength criteria, and basically the steel structure component will be light in weight. On the other hand, the RCC component will be having much higher weight than the steel structure component. Okay, the let us take the example another, pier 1, pier 2. There is U girder being erected over there, and the second case is that we are erecting a steel girder over there, that is taking upon that steel girder casting is being. These steel girder is having only 15 to 20 tons of weight only, depending upon the span length. But U girders is having 120 plus weight, 120 ton plus weight. So in this way we can understand that these steel structures are basically light in weight. For the same strength criteria, steel structures are having lighter weight as compared to the RCC structure. So there is if there is a transportation involved in it, then steel structure have less light weight, so fuel cost will decrease. Basically, due to light weight, the fuel cost will decrease. And another advantage is that recycled, it can be melted and can be recycled again, so it reduces in the minimum wastage. Basically, the wastage is reduced to minimum, and internal resistance is basically much more of the steel structure. Its strength is much more, steel is having more strength as compared to the RCC structure. Okay, they can take up the more load, they more distortion. Basically, whatever the external load, they can easily take up the external load. They can easily have the harsh weather condition, earthquakes. They have, because harsh weather conditions. Let us take the example of the industrial shade. In the case of the industrial shade, if we cast the shade of the RCC, then it will definitely break. But if we but when you use the steel structure, then they have this ductility component. They can easily withstand the damages. They can easily withstand the wind pressure, basically, and they can deform according to the wind pressure and doesn't break up. Okay, so harsh weather condition steel structures are the good. And another thing is that steel structures are light in weight, having much more strength as compared to the RCC structure. The erection of steel structure is quite easy as compared to the other element. Hope this video gives you a brief idea about introduction of steel structure and advantage of steel structure. I will keep on making good content regarding steel structure. Just support the channel and keep support and subscribe. Thank you.